While we making our dollars, a lot of things don't make sense. Life gotta be way more than hookah tips and paying the rent. On this podcast, we discuss those few moments that we find our clarity.
Yo, bro.
Oh, shit, my fault, gang. My bad,
Here's another episode of Moment of Clarity. It's your boy Cito Blanquito. Oh man, life is funny, man.
Nah, you gotta keep that. You gotta keep
it.
That.
It's your boy Cito Blanquito. Never miss a free throw, live and direct. I got now. Okay, who got next? It's another episode of Moment of Clarity. And sometimes, man, you gotta be live. Like, I like life when it's live. Like, too many people live in the bloopers. Facts. I think I get another chance at some shit. Like, nah, bro, I grew up in an era where it's like, you gotta be great right now.
Yeah.
Like, shorty about to walk by you, you gotta say the line right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're the coach walking by, you're not on the team, he got a second, you better say your pitch right now. Because if not, you're not gonna get it again. Too many people live in the bloopers and you think another chance. Like, nah, take one right now.
That's what's up.
You want it or you don't want it. And it kind of goes to the topic we're talking about today is like, yo, how bad do you really want it? One of the quotes I live by is like, you're only as good as what you want to sacrifice. And that could go off a lot of different ways based on people. But before we get too deep into the conversation, to the right of me, I got...
You already know, man. It's your boy Chuck Wolf on the 1 and 3s, no 2s. You know, I'm here with the bros. Another episode of Moment of Clarity.
Yo, what's goody, man? It's your boy Olu, man. Second time joining on the Moment of Clarity. Appreciate Cito. You can follow me on IG, something can't better, but, you know, let's get this conversation going.
Yo, matter of fact, speaking about your IG and Twitter, you made a tweet the other day that I was just like...
Talk to me.
You've been tweeting... I ain't gonna lie. You've been tweeting some tweets, bro. like my son Mouse Jones will say, pay the tweeters, man. Like, for sure. Like, you've been tweeting some tweets.
What was the tweet, man? I just, it's a live... it's just a stream of consciousness.
It's a stream of consciousness.
That's it.
Let me your subconscious clear.
Sometimes I definitely be bugging.
Sometimes you be bugging?
1,000%.
I ain't gonna lie. My son had 3 cookies and 3 scoops of ice cream. We was at Dumbo House, and I was like...
I don't regret it at all.
You don't. But you're being a big boy, I was like... I'm in discipline right now. I was like, boy...
They had that.
I was like...
Nah, they definitely had that. But I ain't gonna lie, like, my sweet tooth has done a lot to me. It's fucked up different genes. It's expensive, man.
Yo,
ebbs and flows, you know?
No, sweet tooth is very, very expensive. It's just like, I don't know, it's tough. Like, when you're in a space of discipline, and you see people indulging in the things you love to indulge in...
Very tough.
Like, you gotta just sit back and be like, they got the butter pecan, they got the good cookies, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I know the cookies warm, and then the ice cream cold, and they mix together,
bro,
go get
Bro, it went crazy.
I know, I can tell.
I did it because my homegirl, shout out to your bank account, she's an OD, like, foodie like me.
Yeah.
Her sweet tooth is crazy, and she was like, yo, I went to the Soho House in Miami, and the cookies is crazy, and Dumbo House is under the Soho House umbrella. So I was like, all right, let me give it a shot, because I fuck with cookies heavy. And shit was, it was just right. It had the nice salt on it, too.
Like, I'm not sure about y'all. You know you be food watching? Like, I'm a food watcher. Like, when I be sitting down, like, we at restaurants and food come out, I'm like, yeah, what's that? Like, what's that? Like you said, yo, what they order? Let me get what they order. Let me get what that look like. So the worst part about it, like, his order come up, I see it. I'm like, it's fire. And I know the devil was working because he turned like, you want something? I was like, come on, bro. I'm already food watching. And now you about to offer?
Keep it a buck now. I was feeling a little self-conscious because it was 3 big boy cookies.
Yo,
but I told myself, I was like, yo, we gonna focus up and get this shit done. Yeah, that's why when I offered it to you and you wasn't fucking with it, I'm like, yo, I'm eating this shit. Because the cookies, it was, yo, no lie. You know when you go to these fucking clubhouses and shit, everything is expensive. So fucking 3 cookies was 10 cash. So I was like, nah, I'm eating these shit. I'm not letting it cool off.
My son had 3 cookies and 3 scoops of ice cream. That looked like the rich ice cream.
Shit was amazing.
I stay away from dairy, but that looked like TV ice cream.
Amazing.
Bro. Like, when we get ice cream, it's different. TV ice cream is something else.
If I would have knew that, I would have definitely bought myself a plate of that.
Bro. No, I was just like, dang. Okay, so the tweet was, I be thinking I'm finessing life when I'm really just winning off what my parents and grandparents prayed for. Thank you, God. And I ain't gonna lie, like, that touched my soul. Cause there's moments in times where I really be thinking like, yo, man, I'm getting this shit off, bro. Like, there be moments in times like I'm Himothy. You know what I'm saying?
He said Himothy.
I'm Himothy in every way. But then I don't think about like, yo, like, I'm really somebody's prayers.
Oh, facts.
Like a lot of things that I have and who I am, the way I move, like my structures, every time I get around my family, it reminds me that it's like, yo, bro, like, you're somebody's plan. And don't ever get it twisted.
Facts.
Now, you could go create your own plan. And and expand on what they did.
Yeah.
But that's such a. I mean, one time I had a show and a lady walked up to me. She said, I want to meet your family. I want to meet everybody that's important to you.
Wow.
I was like,
damn.
I'm like, that's game. Like, what you trying to run down? Like,
She's trying to become Mrs. Blanco.
I don't know, but nah, it wasn't even that type of energy. But cause she was just more just like, I want to know like what kind of molded you to be who you are. And I was just like, that was heavy. And it made me kind of go home and look at everybody around me like, y'all blowing minds, but family group chats is big toxic. But you know what I mean? Family group, but it made me just kind of like, you gotta be more appreciative because like, yo, I didn't wake up like this.
At all.
I did not.
At all.
I did not wake up like this whatsoever. Like, what made you tweet that?
Keep it a rack. So, like, for me, I feel like I'm OD lucky. Like, and I say luck sometimes because I be forgetting to use the word blessed for real. But I just, I have moments and times where I would just be like, yo, I'm really here. Like, from some of the old shit that I've done, that I've been in, or decision, like, I would say, like, not the best decisions that I've been able to make, and to still live, a fairly comfortable and most importantly healthy life. I'm like, yo, like, shout outs to the prayers. And I think what really made me put that tweet out, I was talking to my good friend Israel, and he's much more like religiously grounded than I am. Because I live because I'm more on the liberal side. I'm very like, yo, you take life as it comes, and sometimes I lose sight of the fact of like, real life like is you think you finessing, but it's real life prayers. Because he was saying like, he said something. He said we were talking about schedules and shit, and I was like, yo, I know you can't really do Sundays because you go to church. And he was like, yo, you haven't been to church in a minute. And I was like, yo, you right. And he was like, yo, how long you think you're gonna run off your parents' prayers? And I was like, sheesh. That hit me.
You won't say that.
That hit me. And I was like,
because that just hurt my heart.
I felt that because I haven't been to church in, to be quite honest, years. Right. So that moment hit me, and it was like, yo, no lie, for me to be here in this state, I gotta most importantly give thanks to God, and also just my parents and my grandparents, because my mom definitely in the crib praying, because she know I'm not praying as much as she is, and so I'm always appreciative for that. So I, that was just me doing like a public thank you, if you will, both to God and of course my parents, of course. Yeah, that's good shit. Yeah. But I'm not. Yo, viewers, I'm not that wholesome all the time. Let's relax. You know me?
Trust me, you ain't. Listen, we know what type of time what happens. You know what I'm saying? Like life is about balance. Like men still move how men's gonna move regardless. Exactly. It's just like, I just think it's important that, like you said, like that's a moment of clarity. Facts. To be in that
I saw what you did there. Ooh, smooth, very smooth. Ooh, Cito Blanquito never miss a free throw.
Never miss a free throw. Never miss a free throw. Well, at least I'm 98% from the field. You know what I'm saying? Cop 98 cents. Don't let that go over your head. But I think it's really, really just important in the space of like, yo, like your parents' prayers is heavy. Cause like, once again, go back to this line, no shameless plug. Is like, I got Survivor's Guilt on one shoulder and Damn Homie in high school on another. I found my soul for me, but I got that degree from my mother. But it just makes me get back to the space of like, how much people we lost to create Survivor's Guilt. And when I say lose people, I don't necessarily mean people that necessarily die. Yeah. Like how many of our bros is walking around here like missing the beat of their heart, like they're not living for nothing. Yeah. Their quality of life ain't great. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They're not focused. They're not tapped in. They're in a different space. Yeah. They're in zombie mode. Yeah. And it's tough because it's like you feel like your parents' prayers were stronger than their parents' prayers, and it's like that's not the answer. You know what I'm saying? But it takes everything. Yeah. I feel like it takes some luck, it takes some blessings, it takes some guidance, it takes your family. Yeah. But it also takes a bit of you to say, you know what, I'm about to be something.
1000%. I think also my fault. Like to add to that point, there's privilege in it too. Like I think we all get outside and simplify things and say, yeah, we all live similar or the same, but we don't really. At all. Like I was outside with Nick. Me and Nick went to the same middle school. A lot of our friends.
By the way, that's my real name to everybody out there.
Oh, my fault.
He's only calling me that because
my son Nick. That's his name. His name is Nick.
But my real name is Chuck.
It's Chuck. Yeah.
To everybody else, do not call. I'm not gonna respond to you at all. Like I promise you. Like
yo, bro, just tell them the whole government, bro.
Nah. We go. Make sure we bleep that out. We can bleep people.
We keep it raw.
Yo, bro. People. I be telling people my name. They be bad surprised.
Yeah, like my full name is Nicholas Kareem Calder.
You remember that Kareem, nigga?
Yeah, my name is Kareem.
It's a nice.
I didn't know that.
That's a common
I
Kareem
didn't know
name
that.
though.
I really didn't know that.
Cream? Yeah, cream is mad common.
You find out you got the sky hook. That's why you be doing the sky hook.
So let me find out you got the sky hook.
Yo, boy, you don't play ball with him? I see, yo, he down, nigga. He didn't even doing the sky hook though. Dead ass
Chuck Chuck been 6'2" since we was like 12.
Dead ass.
So I remember when we was like 13, like it's huge.
But Bud taller than all of us.
Y'all was huge. And now I finally got a little height. You know, I'm 6'1". You know, so I'm safe. I'm solid out here.
You wasn't that short though.
Nah, but bro, y'all used to look dumb
6'2"
big. Y'all used to
in
look
middle
bad
crazy.
tall, bro.
Hold on, so you got the 6'2" and to stop? Like,
Nah, I wasn't 6'2" middle.
He was exaggerated, but he was bad tall, bro.
He was tall.
He was tall, bro.
That's the funny.
Bro, I'm thinking about things from my perspective. I'm like, yo, Nick looked hella big when I was in middle school, son.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, this dude is big, son.
Yeah,
So I'm like, yo, because I remember, I'm like, yo, Chucky was a funny bully. He'll laugh, but he'll let you know, like, yo, don't laugh too hard, nigga. The fuck is wrong with you?
He was a bully, bro?
You feel me?
Nah, I wouldn't even say I'm a bully. Like, you know how I am, bro. Like, I'm cynical. So like,
facts, yeah, that's actually
like,
perfect word.
I will cut ass on you, like even when you get upset. Like,
Yeah.
that was my level.
Okay.
Like,
That's
but
perfect.
that's
I think
because
that's
like
just drunk shit.
But that's grown shit. But also
Yeah.
like, yo, like we really from like uptown, bro. Like so
Yeah.
you know, like
Yeah.
that's just how like.
That's just what it is.
Yeah,
And if you don't like it, we can just fight about it.
yeah, and that's
We
Yo,
can
but that's
we can
the-
just fight about
yeah,
it.
like literally
It's
that's
funny
how
how we
it
talk
is.
on camera
I know
about that.
either
Like,
you
the
gonna
whole-
either you gonna beat me up, like either you gonna beat me up,
Or I'm gonna just keep doing it.
Or
Yeah.
keep doing it.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna hold you. Like, cutting ass versus fighting had a different impression one day in high school.
Yeah.
Because some nigga was cutting ass somebody and he beat him up. And then he got beat up and kept cutting ass on him, bro.
Oh, yeah,
And it still was funny. And I was like, yo, dang, like, that's probably the one time I realized, like, a joke might dead ass trump the fist.
Yeah.
Because he really beat him
And
up.
you'll still
And
win.
my son was dead washed, still cutting ass, like, you beat me up, nigga. Them jeans still train. I was like, yo, like.
I can't lie, I have a lot of respect for that person.
Yo,
Because
it's like
that means he ain't really put fear in your heart. He
Yeah,
inflicted
you're not-
pain, but
Yo,
you not really
That's a
scared
real
of him.
thing.
Niggas
though.
is fearless.
Like, no, that's a real thing. Like, the
Yeah.
whole, like, when I that was my line. I feel like your bro's line when they about to get fight. Like, they about to fight, especially going to high school and middle school.
Yeah.
My line was like, yo, bro, you put no fear in my heart. Like, you put no fear in my heart at all. And that's a real thing because you can lose a fight to somebody, but you did have no fear in
Yeah,
your
I
heart.
don't care.
scared of them, yeah.
Like, it's
I
a
lose,
different
like,
type of feeling. Like,
That's a fact.
Like I will dead punch you in your mouth. Like I don't care who you are.
Or we would just keep fighting and you'll
Let's
keep beating me up.
Yeah, it'll
yo,
just be
I ain't gonna lie, I missed that early, yo.
Yeah.
Like
It was
really and
more
truly,
pure.
like
It was more
I
pure.
get like kids record like, alright, fighting is fighting, yo, it's gonna happen. Like boys gonna do what boys do.
Yeah.
Like it's naturally you're gonna get, you're gonna test your strength
Of
at certain
course,
moments.
of course.
But I remember growing up, like one of my mans in high school, bro, like he said, I'm gonna fight this dude every time I see him until I win.
Right.
He fought him
Wow.
like 4 times.
So,
And I was like, yo, the fact that you even like had the fortitude to fight 4 times,
Yeah.
it's just like bug to me. Like, yo, like that's a real thing. That's
Most of
character.
my brethren,
Thanks.
like most of my good brethren to this day, has been made through confrontation.
Yeah.
Like before I turned 9 years old, bro, like I was all about being friends. Like, hey, let's do this. Like, let's draw together. I was a regular kid until like
Drawing
some
together
kid was
is
like,
crazy.
what? Like, nigga, bro, some nigga boxed me, bro. Some kid just boxed me in class one day, bro. I swear to God. Yo, school is wild, bro. Cause you gotta say, I'm just going there as a regular youth. Like, I'm just trying to make friends. I have toys. I'm trading. I'm an only child, so
Yeah.
I used to have mad toys. So I'm coming to school to like share with niggas.
He
you
was
feel me?
taking toys and shit, right?
Yeah, niggas was taking the shit. I'm trying to get it back. My mom asked me, "Oh, what happened to that time and bite?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I traded him." And she look at this toy. She like, "This is fuckery," and like, I gotta go get that back. So then I go get it back. I was always truthful, so I go back like, "Yo, bro, my mom is mad. Yo, I need my toy back." And like niggas with dead ass look me in my face like, "Oh, you're not getting it back," and I'm like, "What?" And I didn't know how to respond to that at first.
Yeah.
So I used to get bullied, bro, without knowing I was getting bullied
That's a
until
real thing.
somebody hit me. Is the hit? I don't know if anybody out here.
That first hit.
That first hit.
That first hit was
It determines who you was gonna be in school. Like,
That's
That's a
funny, though.
fact.
cause like, yo, bro, that first hit made me said, nah, I'm never getting hit like that off rip. So when got bullied at first in first grade, second grade, made friends, still wasn't really like hip to the whole fighting thing. And in 3rd grade, oh my
Dude, the fact
God.
there's bullies in the 1st grade is crazy, bro.
Crazy.
Because like I've worked in school, like when you see 1st graders now, you're just like, yo, what? Like
Yo,
like,
they're babies.
Like you're a baby, and you're a baby, bro.
You're
Like
five.
like you bullying kids is just crazy to me,
Bro.
Like, it's
I
like
think
what?
I think real life is just people testing boundaries. That's all.
You're right. You're right.
That's
You
all.
know,
it
kids
is.
They're
is-
naturally like they don't see it as
kids
bullying.
is
They
not
just
bound.
like,
Testing-
yeah,
I'm
Of course, like we put a word on it and
But
like
they're
we
just more like-
demonize it, but I think it's just people testing boundaries.
No, which is you know what's interesting about that because like sometimes kids just see something they want it
Yeah.
and they don't even know what's happening. Like
It's funny because around that age though, they start to know who they are though. They start to have an
nah, from
idea
0 to
of who
7
they
is your
are.
membrane. That's when you start to develop who you are.
But after 7, it's like you know what you're doing. That's why I said there was kids in there at like in 2nd grade. Like my son just throwing middle finger up at me. I'm like, what? And then like my mom, we got into a fight. I punched him in his face. As I said, that first hit,
Yeah.
I started to understand like, oh,
You remember that hit to this day, don't you?
bro.
Like, you
My
remember-
mom remembers that. That shit was
Like, yeah.
embarrassing. You gotta stay like I come to school now. I'm crying.
Yeah.
I'm like I'm thinking the teacher's gonna be on my side. Yo, Miss Johnson. Yo, fuck you. But anyway, back to what I'm saying.
You see how hurt people. You put the same middle finger up you got towards your teacher. Bro. That's crazy.
But you see that, yo, shouts out to life because the beauty of life is so spontaneous. It's like you never know when you're gonna do something that happened to you back in the day. So anyway, back to what I was saying.
Yeah.
3rd grade now, I met my mans and like like we became friends because he was really trying to violate me. Like he came. You know the kid that used to just come in class because he mad, like he just mad because he got left back. So now he here with like niggas that was supposed to be here.
Yeah.
Like my son coming in, he sit down. We all drawing at the table, and my son started like throwing everybody's papers on the
Kids
floor.
that get left back,
And I'm like, yo,
80% of problems in
yo,
school.
bro, my son.
80% of problems in school, bro.
I just learned how to draw Goku, bro. My son took my shit, ripped it, boy. I box him, boom.
Learning how to draw Dragon Ball Z pants.
That when he
It's
duffed
probably
me
the
back, I
hardest
said,
thing to
oh
like,
shit.
bro. The hardest thing in like
Yo.
drawing Dragon Ball Z pants. I think at one point in time, like most of the people I know that started playing sports are the ones that couldn't draw like Dragon Ball Z characters. Yo, bro, I'm not gonna lie to you, bro.
He said it's
Yo,
Draw Dragon Ball Z.
Yo, I couldn't draw Dragon Ball Z characters, so I picked up a football, bro. I was like, yo,
that's
I'm about
brilliant.
to go start playing sports because I ain't gonna be, because back in the day, yo, being able to draw characters and drawings to get
Was big.
like was a big thing. Like you used to pull up teachers, and be like, wow,
Bro,
you
you
did
used to
this?
sell. Remember, we used to sell your drawings.
Yo, drawing was a thing. You used to be that
have
nigga
your
for
shit
drawing
hung up.
stuff, bro.
Yeah, that shit hung up in the wall.
Yeah, all that, bro.
My
I ain't gonna lie to
man-
you, I was one of them haters, bro. Like I see niggas shit hang up in the wall. Take that shit.
You know why they hate? You know why they hate? Though? You know why I hate sometimes?
Take that shit
I ain't gonna lie.
down.
I was gonna hate him because most of them niggas was like my mans in them. Like, cause we like I'll see them like. Cause I stopped drawing cause like I went to go play sports too.
Yo, that ass, bro. They stop.
Like I was nice, but I was like, yo, like you know, I'm like I ain't about to take it that serious. Like you know what I'm saying? Like,
But also, I think it's tough because it's not a space for like mans them, especially like black men to take it that serious.
Yeah.
Because like as I make that statement, I forget like I'm not like no lie. My brother's probably one of the best. Like his drawings are immaculate.
yeah, I know someone
He
like
went to
that.
he went to school down. He went to school in the city. Was not art and design. I forgot what school he went to in the city. But he went to school in the city and like his drawings were amazing.
Yeah.
But he also was mad he went to that school because he couldn't play sports. And like it's almost wild because a lot of our like back and forth of life was like my parents kind of like he's gonna be the athlete, you're gonna be the artist.
Yeah.
And he kind of felt like that kind of didn't make him feel somewhat like I could be the athlete too.
Right.
Yeah.
And the irony is just more of like that kind of made me feel like I couldn't be the artist.
Right.
And that's why I kind of probably just started doing art later on in life.
Right.
So it's tough how we kind
It's a
of
residual
those
effect.
early ages we kind of put things on kids and they like especially black men we run with it.
Yeah.
We run with it until we realize it doesn't serve us no more.
Yeah.
But it's never really a bridge to what kind of does serve us.
It's
in
funny.
a certain space.
It varies. Like, yo, personally, man, shout outs to my father. So he's an architect by education and also like occupation. So he used to like I definitely was doing the same drawing shit we all was. But he went to the University of Rome. So his viewpoint on like art and stuff was just very different. So so we used to live in the South Bronx before I moved uptown.
Mm-hmm.
So we lived 2 blocks away from the Bronx Museum on 165
Yeah, I know you're talking about
in the concourse. So they had a program every Saturday morning. So my dad required us to go to that program for arts and crafts before we could do anything, because he just understood the importance of like just art in general.
It's expression.
Like expression is important. Like you feel me? Like so I do think like as a young boy you got to really make real life decisions between like what you want to do and what you kind of like what's kind of what you take in and digest. depending on who you're around. Like I started playing basketball because I noticed it was a geographics thing. Like when I went outside, New York City is very cement heavy, and you will see a court before you see anything else.
100%.
And also in addition to that, like, you know, if we want to be completely honest, like playing basketball is also playing sports in general is a good way to shield you from like the real dangerous shit going on. Like I would play ball and build a relationship with real life dangerous niggas.
100%.
Off the strength of like,
you was
just
good
fuck me because I hoop.
And then you were good in dangerous places because
you could go
you
home.
was good in a safe space of playing ball.
Yeah.
Like, 100%. That's
So it goes a couple ways. Like, of course, there's discussions about arts and crafts, the importance of that staying. But I think it's also important, like, yo, you got to kind of set, like, low-key some, like, creative mandates on your kids. So even if you don't even think they want to do it, they just have to like dedicate like an hour to it. Because the way we tell kids, yo, you got to learn, you know, the Pythagorean theorem. You could be like, yo, you got to learn how to draw a circle before you go outside. Like you may not want to do it, but I think it's just important for you to explore because it might be something that you tap into.
I think that's like that point is really, really dope. But also, I think that whole going outside is different. Like you might gotta say you gotta draw circles. You go inside because kids will be like going outside.
That's
like,
time's definitely different.
Yeah, time's different. Like you gotta like it's almost kind of like go outside and tie dye something and like make some clothes or something. Like I think. Like I think that's really, really like so important.
I remember Nickelodeon used to have that block, like that 2-hour block, 3-hour block.
Oh,
until you go outside and it'll turn off all the
all the channels go black. All the channels go black.
Maybe I was just OD outside, but
I was an OD outside kid. Like I got the scars to prove it, bro. Like I was outside.
I was outside heavy.
Yeah,
but like I was always a cartoon.
That's dope.
I was always in the cartoons. So you know, before I'm going outside, I'm watching big cartoon, bro. You know, I'm just chilling in the crib eating cereal.
Yeah.
Around like 2:00, that ass. It was literally like 2:00.
2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, it would say, yo, all kids go outside.
And they had an event at Central Park for that shit too.
Yeah, it was just
word,
bro. They used to
bro. That's so fire. I feel like low key.
They need to bring that. But it's tough now.
They need to bring that back, but I think
kids, everything's demand. Everything's demand.
Yeah,
so it's kind of like, what you gonna do? Cut the Wi-Fi out for 2 hours? That's not.
And like also, I feel like also too, maybe like there's a different type of like, you know, ad dollars is a real thing. Nickelodeon probably like, nigga, we know that 2-hour block cost us like 20 M's.
Yo, but the irony is like the transition of like us going outside was like. I'm not sure if our parents understood what was happening outside.
Yeah.
Because it's like me, I'm first generation.
Yeah.
So like my parents, they thinking like go outside, you have to just live life, whatever happens.
Yeah.
But like when they started seeing kids like getting locked up, dying, things like that, it's a different perspective of going outside.
Yeah.
I think the next generation now, while kids inside so much, is like, I'd rather you be inside and I know you're here than you be outside getting caught up in God knows what. And I'm not a fan of that all the way.
You know
but it's also, I feel like it's a form of protection.
And it's funny because in a sense, it's like the internet is like an actual like parallel to like the real world.
So they got the metaverse.
Yeah, so they're like that's why like even though kids are staying inside,
they still feel like they're living outside the screens.
They're still committing. They're still doing things.
Because it's just
they still getting in trouble.
Because like you said, there's no system set out for them to like do this for an hour, do that. Like you know, like what Kara once said in his future sermon, where he was just like, yo, like play was meant for adults. You know what I'm saying? Like the idea of play was meant for when you're an adult. You know, as a child, you're supposed to be working to like, for instance, like you're supposed to when you're 5, you're working to be you're working for when you're 10, and when you're 10, you know, vice versa. It's like so by the time you're 30, like nigga, you're most likely, you know what I'm saying? You're most likely what can I say? You're most likely like either like what's the word? Retiring. Because like you spend so much of your adolescent like, you know, following the structure because they said that's the best time to teach them.
No, it's the best time to teach the brain because like
and structure them. So it's not saying like
just structure the younger year.
Because for instance, not even saying like they can't like have fun.
Yeah.
But teach them how like being structured is fun and like doing like learning how to
kind of just getting them ready to be a part of like the manufacturing plant that we call work.
Right.
Yeah. And we're talking about systems. Like it's really systems. I'll say this on this podcast by the time, but I'll say it again like
systems,
bro. I went to Rikers Island one time to perform, and when I got to my first time there, but I felt like I've been there before.
Wow.
Because it felt like school. Like literally, like it was almost kind of like I knew where to walk. I had an idea where the bathroom was at. Like literally the structure of everything in there, it didn't seem foreign to me. It just seemed like I kind of knew where to go. That was crazy to me.
A lot of middle schools a lot of schools in general used to be former asylums.
Wow.
So like the whole concept of like, you know how some schools where you're walking in the hallway and you could look down into the first floor. That was for like the security guards to see what was going on all the time.
Right.
That's crazy.
So like some schools are like that, but I'm not gonna say all of them, but a decent amount of schools are like former asylums.
It's like,
and really surveillance prone, like because
that's why. It's tough too because like when I was teaching, like our principal used to always be like, "All right, let's get them down the hallway," and it was always like, "We'll put them in 2 lines in structure." And I used to hate that.
One thing I always say,
I used to never want to do that.
I think once the word discipline is involved in like inside of like a building, that shit is like prison to me. But like when you think about discipline,
I think we misconfuse discipline.
No,
I associate discipline with honestly when I think about how I was raised, I associate discipline with violence.
Yeah, so when I think about it, hear me out, bro. Like hear me out.
Like I would discipline you. I don't know. Well, I just took that as niggas about to put hands on me.
I think about it like this. The only
I don't
as a kid, not right now.
I'm not saying
but
now,
as a kid, that's how I looked at it.
Like when I was younger, like I didn't want to go to prison because, like the way my mans that did go to prison explained it, I'm like, wait, so y'all niggas is like in school? Like it sounded like y'all in school, like, but like y'all just
not learning.
Y'all just not learning. And y'all being surveillance heavier, like, cause like, bro, come on, bro, like you ever been in class? And like the niggas walking out in the hallways, looking through the.
Nah, say
you're in class and you're just like looking at this thing. The only difference is like you could dead ass like, what the fuck you looking at, nigga? Like if you one of them kids, like you just bugging out on that nigga. Like, what you doing, nigga? Yeah. But like it's the same shit with the water. It's like nigga walking past, looking at you, like. Yo,
that's what I'm saying. The same. I think crazy. It's the same structure of. It's the same structure
to prison. That's what I always say.
I think.
Yeah, school to prison pipeline.
Yeah, school is a big.
Well, that's like, that's a big thing for like impoverished neighborhoods of color, specifically black neighborhoods, because they just already associate like this is a high chance that due to your proximity to poverty is going to transition to crime, because if you don't got no money you're going to have to do something to get money, which is very like pretty straightforward, because
that point too is like, bro, like when you go to some of these privileged schools, it's probably the same structure. Like the construction workers built it the same way. Yeah. Like only difference you see, like we might get some rundown computers. They may have Macs. Yeah. Like they may have newer textbooks and things of that sort. But the way that it's actually like, so I don't necessarily think it's a physical thing. It's probably a mentality, and it's what you know on the outside. Yeah. Like one of my favorite poems I think ever was like, I don't know the full structure of it. I'm paraphrasing. It was like, my teacher is mad because I don't have a pencil.
Bro, that poem is beautiful. But I think that's a big story about. One, the impact of lack of resources, overt responsibility on the child, and how that transitions into like how they live their life. Because that one kid went from I don't know the poem verbatim, but I read it like every few months. But basically, he wakes his sister up, they get ready to go to school, and he goes through the fucking like just a bunch of cyclical bullshit. And then his teacher is on his ass about not having a pencil.
It's crazy.
It's like he has to do so much things above his emotional pay grade before he even gets to school.
11.
Yeah. And then by the time he gets to school, a teacher's on him because you don't have a pencil. Yeah. And the tough part about it is like you're not even necessarily mad at the teacher because the teacher's like, how can I teach you if you don't have the resources to learn? But he's just like, showing up is a victory. Yeah. And it's like, so whose fault is it really? Because being a teacher, I've been there. Like, I've literally had to sit back and stop teaching the whole day and just have conversations about life with kids because they're crying. Yeah. And one thing I think that we take for granted is that just because tears doesn't come out somebody's eyes doesn't mean they're not crying. You can hear people crying in their voice, in their body language, in their energy, especially children. Yeah. And it sucks because you can see other adults not acknowledge that. And at one point in time, I used to be like, what's wrong with you? Yeah. But then I start to realize, yo, bro, that adult is crying too. Yeah. And then it gives me a whole microcosm of life. I'm like, yo, bro, like, yo, we got so many people in emotional warfare trying to teach kids in emotional warfare. Yeah. And I was just like, that's when I was like, I don't know if this is for me. Because, like, it becomes a lot. Because it feels like a trauma cesspool sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Mm. And then we got a curriculum that's like, we got to get these tests done by a certain time. Yeah. And that shit was just kind of like, but... Hold it. There's more kids that come in every year. Yeah. And this is the system, this is the structure. Exactly, So it's more like, it's easy to talk about it from a perspective being in it for a little bit. I don't know what that person is for 10 years, and you got that same kid that don't got a pencil every class. You know what I'm saying? Like, how does that affect you? Like, you know that kid never's gonna have that pencil. Like, And then, so do you just stop teaching him and teach the kid that does have a pencil? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you start to break those things down where it's beyond just the story. It's like, what causes all of this? You know what I'm saying?
Keep it a buck. There was some, like, you know, shout outs to public school teachers in general, because some of them were OD resourceful.
Oh, no,
like, they would take it to another level where they would raise money so all the kids in their class would have utensils. Some would put like a quota on the parents to bring pencils, knowing that some kids didn't have, you know, just utensils in the crib, so they would share it out. So shout outs to like public school teachers, because I feel like they do a lot with a little, and we talk about a little from a number of things, from like in-class resources to, like, you know, when we think about the emotional burden of like being a teacher is wild, and then like, you know, we sit down and we talk about their pay. It's not that crazy for real.
Really, because I spent like 6 months subbing, and like being in that system was just kind of like, it was difficult because like I felt like I was a teacher, but I didn't. Cause I felt so new, but I'm seeing what everybody's doing, and it's kind of like, like you have a different perspective. Yeah. Because like real life is happening to them too. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I think that's the part that makes me have so much like empathy for my teachers now. It's like, bro, like teachers can be going through like, divorces and issues and all type of stuff, and it's like principal on their back, and the kid is in the class just bugging. Yeah. And then you find out like something just happened to that kid. There's a whole case open on the kid. And you like that's just their reaction to what. So it's like, I think prisons and schools are a microcosm of how society affects, how societies think problems spill over on each other. Yeah. And it's like, whose job is to clean it up?
It's the habitus, man. It's whoever influences the habitus.
Yeah. So it's I don't know. But then for us to make it out of that, because we all have experienced it, and still get to a space of like a relevance of success, I guess it kind of comes to what I'll talk about today. Is like, how bad do you really want it? Yeah. Like, what are you willing to sacrifice? Yeah. Like, I think, and we speaking on this earlier, is like this whole space of getting out of your emotions and just doing what you're supposed to do. Yeah. Leads to a better formula of success. Yeah. Than feeling all of your emotions and doing things when you feel like doing it. Yeah. But does that necessarily create a great quality of life?
It depends. Like, you know, some of the productivity gurus be like, don't focus on the process, think about the outcome. And then some of them be like, don't allow the outcome to motivate you, think about the progress. So it really it depends on who you are as an individual. I feel like if you consistently have to take your emotions away from day-to-day acts to get to something, you need to ask yourself real questions about whether you actually want to do that thing. Because like, you're stepping further and further away from your humanity. If you feel like you're in a place where you consistently have to turn off how you feel, that's wild. That's a dark place to be, because you're no longer like a human for real.
But I think in that sense, and I know this is gonna sound crazy, but do you feel like humanity is overrated?
What you mean? Like, unpack that a little bit.
I don't think it's overrated, and the reason why I don't think it's overrated is because it's like, I realize we tend to like classify things overrated when it's like, it seems like it's too hard to obtain, or we like to classify things as cliches when it's true, when it's like true for everybody though. You know, I feel like humanity is a thing that people speak on because they don't feel human. It's like we can't help it. That's why we always trying to say, bro, let's try to be human. Like, because like off rip, we don't feel it all the time, majority of the time.
And that's, I guess
so. Good. So in a sense of what he, what he's getting at is just like, the emotion is usually what gives you a bit of indication that, you're still like human. Mm-hmm. Because like, shit, this whole entire like hamster wheel could stop as soon as I feel something. It's like, shit, damn, I'm human. Yeah. But in the same sense, you're a little bit more than human, because there's also other things like we're like, our brains is making us do other things. I mean, I can't explain that energy, but we just want to do more than what we are like more than what we want to do, like more than what we like should just be doing. Because in reality, like, we own, like I was just telling them over here, is like, we're just only like, we could just breathe, bro. Like, that's the only thing we're like, we have to do, like breathe, eat, and like just take a shit, procreate. Yeah. But now everything else is an add-on due to us having like more like levels of like, intellect and shit.
But I wish we were still free in the sense of like, we can't act like where we breathe, where we shit, and where we procreate doesn't matter. Because we need places to do those things.
It only mattered like once, like I said, it just matters because we feel there's a fear there. Like for instance, I was just saying like, yo, it's crazy that like, damn, it's like when you think that there was one time where like we'll build a house and like as soon as a thunderstorm pull up, like we know like, yeah, we're gonna have to move this house, like because this thunderstorm is gonna mash this house down, so now we gotta move and like find a new place to live. That's how we learned like, oh, maybe living at higher ground. If you live in wetlands, is a better place to live because so such and such is gonna happen. But there was a time where we lived with the planet, in the sense
it was more nomadic, and
it was more nomadic, so we understand like the essence of life. Because we were still doing things like where it's like, okay, we using tools and we're creating new things, but some people like, oh, that wasn't modern, it's not a Tesla, but it's like, yo, that's still something crazy that like this nigga just created something that could carve something. Now he don't have to tear it with his hands. And like he could like cut it precisely, and the time that we used to look at time as just, it wasn't a thing to us, so we was just learning. I think once we started putting time and like started fearing the number, because like I said, you don't really identify with numbers when you're a baby. You just identify with how much something is. Like if you teach a baby numbers, you're gonna say, all right, how much fingers is this? You're gonna say how much. What if you show them the figure 5, like you're like, well.
So no, I'm saying like they see life. They see life as life is a tangible. Like they see life as a tangible resource of learning.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to learn the system.
Right.
I think
once we enter the system, that's where now it's like we have this big like.
To the point of what I was trying to say, like, yes, I don't naturally feel like being human is overrated, but I feel like, especially in this day and age, we're trying to do everything to go away from what being a human actually is.
Right.
So, as much as we say yes, we want to be human. Why do we constantly invest our time and attention and our energy, probably the most human things that we have, into things that are not human?
It's because for the people who control the habitus, because understand there's still control mechanisms like out here creating like it. We don't even know if what we're thinking is even like ours. You know what I'm saying? And that's just the real. Like we don't even know if like that's how.
So you saying you don't know if your thought right now is yours?
Yeah, I could like literally be taking this from something I've read. I could like, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, that's a subconscious aspect. I get that. That's true.
So
that's
subconsciously, like that's why I said you have to speak things like you're speaking to yourself. So when you saying like, yo, being human is overrated, of course your life is starting to mold into like an overrated example of what being human is. It's like man, this shit is nothing. Like, I gotta let me just put in work, man. Let me just do this. Let me do that. Now, if you're saying like, yo, I have to like figure out how to like still experience being what human is and understanding what that is, and also say, but I still have goals and things I want to obtain in this like physical world, though. You know what I'm saying? And like, there's still things I want to do outside of being just human. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta just figure that out. But I think it starts with what you say to yourself. You know what I'm saying? And like how you program your subconscious. It's like, and I don't know. I mean,
I agree to disagree.
I wanna add to that. I feel like addressing the topic of like humanity is really broad, right? Okay. But if anything, like I feel like we all are living our lives through somebody else's marketing campaign, right? In addition to like identifying like nature and nurture and all that other shit, like a lot of decisions you make, you think they're the decisions you make, but that's just a result of like time, place, location.
No, okay, gotcha.
And then of course, like how you were raised, like so it just depends. Like, but as you get older, you start to do a better job of identifying what makes sense for you, like. Because a lot of the time, like, whether it's myself or, like, friends, family, whatever, you find people just repeating things that their parents told them.
Right.
But they never really challenge those things themselves, or, like, repeating the things that their parents raised them to do, or, like, their community raised them to do. They never really just ask themselves, like why am I doing this, right?
What's the why to the what I'm doing?
Exactly. What's the why, right? So, it's a lot of things to it. I think, just, like, trying to, like, sit down and be like, this is the definition of life is wild.
No, I think
that's gonna give you crazy headache.
You're gonna spend more time trying to figure that out than actually living life.
Yeah, you just got.
And that's you just got.
I was just trying to do the whole Pokemon thing where I said like when you act like there was a point where when you played Pokemon, and this is why I realized life got me, my nigga. Like there was a time I used to just play Pokemon and the only thing I was doing was walking around in the grass and just talking to every single NPC that was there. You know what I'm saying? So actually, like, be like, you know, like he said earlier, like, you know, being like present. You know what I'm saying? But then after a while, I started catching myself just trying to beat the game. You feel me? And I think once I got into that mindset, I stopped enjoying the game. Like, I stopped enjoying the fruits of the game. Like, it's like I'm just eating the fruit. Like, all right, Pokemon ready. All right, go battle, take the fucking badges. All right, boom.
Yeah.
Trade it off. Now I just traded off a $50 game. And now I'm just like, it's like there's no connection to nothing. I didn't even like learn. I'm just acquiring the fruit, but I'm not really enjoying it. I'm just like, nigga, I just gotta do this. Like, you know, it turned into I just have to do it instead of like, yo, I'm actually enjoying this. Like, this is, you know, like I'm enjoying feeling these pressures. You know?
So, from a percentage standpoint, how many things in life do you feel like you have to just do versus you want to do? Like, because I've always like the same thing, like that whole like you have to do what you want to do, you have to do what you don't want to do so you can do what you want to do. That's something that I got taught at a very young age, and I started to challenge. Yeah. And I understand the concept of it, but I feel like that saying alone goes away from the aspect you're talking about, like, of abundance and abundance, but boundaries. Right. And understanding like, yo, my energy is currency, and my energy can bring anything I want in my life. Right. Like, no, I can do everything that I want to do. Right. But I need to understand what I want to do. Right. Yeah. Like, because there's things I could want to do that can make me money. Right. Yeah. I think one of the most toxic things I think I've learned just in my culture, like Jamaican culture, money, y'all for work, we work. So no matter what, work. Yeah. And it's kind of like, yo, there's ways you can take care of your family and do something you want to do. Right. Yeah. And that's not just an anomaly anymore. Right. And I think so many times we're taught that. Yeah. So I think that's the most non-human thing. Constantly doing things we don't want to do. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm not saying that from a space of like want to play video games and just chill with gal all day. Like, I think you can like almost, and that's why I yearn for to be in a space where it's like every time I say yes to something, I really want to say yes to it. Yeah. And it also takes care of the people that I love, and it keeps me on the path that I want to fulfill the purpose God put me on earth for. Right. And at times it makes me feel like, am I naive for thinking that? Yeah. I think you are, because that's not realistic. Like, but what's realistic? That's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like what's realistic then?
That's what I'm saying. It's like when I say be realistic, is like understanding that like, yo, you're not gonna always say yes to everybody.
See, that's not what I was saying.
What you saying?
What I said is that the yeses that I say I want to say yes.
Right. So basically, like, saying that most of the things you do, you're actually passionate about.
Yeah, not even about being passionate about. Yeah. It's like I could be in extreme logic, but it's still I understand the yes. Right. Mm. Like me personally, there's a lot of yeses I say in a day that I really want to say no to, but I'm like, yo, bro, you gotta say yes to that, so you go do that. Yeah, sure. So yeah, I'm gonna do that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But that's my energy towards it. Right. Yeah. And I've seen people where they're kind of like, oh no, I'm gonna say this yes. Yeah. And it's gonna get me to a better yes. Right. But it's still a yes they want to say yes to. Right. Yeah. I feel like I gotta say a lot of yeses to my no's that I really want to say no to. But so it can get me to the yes I want to say to eventually. Yeah. That makes sense. I know I'm using yeses and no's, but and that, because even when we're talking about off camera, like everybody tells you this work balance of like, yo, heal and understanding who you are and don't just grind out and but then everybody that tells me that is like, yo, bro, I seen you kind of talk about 20 hours a week and not be around your family to get to a point where now you can be healthy. Yeah. I don't see men that look like me be healthy on their way to the top and then stay healthy when they get there. Yeah. They choose to get healthy once they get there. And it's almost kind of like some don't make it. And when I say that, I'm not talking about just dying. Some people get sick. I've seen young niggas get heart attacks and strokes and lose themselves in a gal and just say, I'm going to just do, like, they get lost in any other thing because they feel like they can't stay on their hamster wheel long enough to get to the top to eventually kind of be healthy. Yeah. Okay. And I don't want to live like that no more. But it's a question I got to battle with myself in that. Yeah. But it's also like sometimes we wonder, like, can I get an example of somebody that was healthy but also made it to the top on their way being healthy?
I don't know, man. I think that's why I watch anime. You know, I think that's why I think that's one of the reasons why I enjoy watching. Because
not to put it, but that's just still like I'm saying that's
though. It's a cartoon, but it's based in like it's based on like Japanese like culture and how they view like growth in life. You know what I'm saying? And like one thing I've always realized, like, yo, there's no like like none of those MCs, the main characters, there's no pain that they don't go through, bro. Like they go through all the pain that's possible. you know, to obtain this like hidden power, or you know what I'm saying, like, and I think as a kid, because I always used to watch like most animes that have that like trope, like I realized like it became like like the way I started viewing like, okay, well I think this is pretty like, you know, like, because then when I started viewing it from that angle, you know, because I know life is all about angles, so it's like when I started viewing it from that angle, like when I'm like, you know, I used to look at niggas playing ball like, damn, how they got like how they doing that, you know, like damn, this nigga dunking. But then when I started playing ball myself and started playing ball with the dudes that really know how to play ball, and I'm seeing like what they're doing on just regular days, like they're training, and I see them sweating. I know their legs hurt. Like I know like they're training, but it hurt. But it's like they're still doing it. They're pushing through, because then now when they get on court to really showcase what they've been training, it's like wow, you know, that shit is fucking, you know. So I understand, like I think like pain and confusion, all these things is part of it. Like it's I
agree. I think it's a part of it. I don't think that's not the.
And I think
that's a part of the process. I understand that, but to me, it's in that analogy. It's like stop trying to make me seem like you going out dropping 30, getting triple doubles, and like you talking about you had a great work-life balance. Like you didn't go extra on that court because you was like, I gotta be better than everybody else on earth. Yeah. Like that's my thing. Like don't paint the picture like, oh no, I'm only training two hours a day, 3 times a week. Like when I know you on your Kobe, like waking up at 3, going to the gym, and taking a nap and going 4 times a day.
It goes back to that place where I think people always like to, you know, me, I'm not like that. I like telling people the truth. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, nah, bro, like I've been shooting for years. Like if you like my photography, understand this. I've been shooting for years. Like that's not, I just got up and I'm just like, oh my God, like nah. Shooting for years, editing for years. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like, even with me rapping, like yo, some people look at it as a gift. It most likely
no, but it's skill. You put your time in.
But I do it so much that like, you know, it gets more, you know, it becomes more and more effortless. Like, and I understand like even me rapping and learning how to be in the studio, etiquette, all those things, like that shit. It's kind of painful in a sense because I'm like, damn man, can I just come in here and rap? But every time I used to get on the mic, I'm like, damn, my shit is trash. But like if you hear me freestyle, it's like you wouldn't even think that. But I started out trash when I started recording because it was a different etiquette.
It's a different type of.
It's a different. It's a
but
different
I guess
etiquette.
the question is it pain if you love it?
Yeah. I think pain is involved with the love. I don't think it's pain if you love it. I think it's just pain involved with like whatever you're doing, because you have to deal with that like that break, like you know, you gotta deal with that place where it's like, damn, am I ever gonna make a breakthrough with this shit? Like, you know, you gotta.
But
you know,
I think
you
that
going
goes back
up.
to what you're saying in the sense of like, do you do it for the result? Do you do it for the process?
For the progress, yeah. Like I think, yo, the whole to add to your point, I feel like you just was the discussion or like the topic you was just on was just like, is work-life balance a thing when you're trying to get to the top, right? So generally, I personally, I think that's like a new model for real. I feel like it's like very much like ebbs and flows. Like you lose balance to regain balance to lose it again.
Okay,
right?
I agree with that. I go through that.
Because like in everything in life, consistency is false. Like there's no such thing as like every day.
Can you please say that to women?
Consistency is false. Like I think no one, like you can't get the same, at least from like a humanly response to things. Because to be human is to understand that you're imperfect. Like you won't, you're not a robot. You're not a number. You're a person. So I feel like, to add to your point about like, yo, these dudes be saying, you know, they had to sacrifice whatever. These are real things. You sacrifice. With that sacrifice, you gain things, and then, you know, catch and release. It's ebbs and flows. Personally, I feel like, you know, in addition to these things, you just really just got to understand, like, you know, what is your top? Like, are we talking about money? Are we talking about your career?
Right.
As you get older, all these things change. Like for me, it's like a balance between a number of things. Like, yeah, of course, I would like to have money because one, I like to go out to eat. I like to be around my friends and not have money be a thing that we talk about. And I think, you know, a decent amount of folks want that because you just want to You just want the vibes to be right. You don't want it to turn. No. I don't like going out with people and it just starts turning into a big math problem. Like I'm not really into that.
Quality of life. I went to too many BBQ dinners and niggas doing math about who paid for what. I want to be on the card roulette. Like somebody throw a card in, whoever paid for it, pay for it.
It's a fact.
And ain't no like cash out.
I think sidebar into that. That's why I do enjoy like especially my adult age now. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like I've experienced that a lot of times with my group of friends. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, we just go out and it's just like I remember there was a time, and I remember when we was younger, we was doing that. Because, I think as a kid, you just be having money. I don't know. I just had money. I'm not going to lie. Like, it's not even trying to, I just had extra, you just a kid, so.
And also, things we just buying.
Yeah.
You a kid, bro, you bought 2 plates of Chinese food.
I was just buying shit.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Now you pay for Noble bills. It's like you say, it's a different, it's a.
So, but then, I do remember that space where I wasn't able to do that.
Yeah.
So I think now that I'm able to do it, I really do appreciate that, just
100%.
that quality of life. That's, enjoying the mundane things in life, just understanding that, linking up with bro, I don't see bro every day, but when I see him, it's always vibes. We always
1000%.
We always chilling. We always vibing.
Yeah.
We always talking about some shit. We always in a good space. You know what I'm saying? And niggas ain't even worried about anything crazy. It's just we here. We enjoying because at the end of the day, after we leave here, it's back
into the madness.
Back into the madness.
So it all depends. I feel like you gotta understand in this life, there's a lot of different forms of success.
Yeah.
You got your family. You got your health.
Right.
You got your career, you got romantic love, you got your friendships. Yeah. So personally, for me, what's becoming the true form of wealth, and it's continued to be proven time and time again, is my relationships. I want to do my very best to just treat people well. I know for sure there's gonna be some moments where I ain't shit, because I'm still learning this. I'm still learning this shit, but. I want to do my best when I address someone or they're around me and they just feel good. You feel me?
Yeah.
So because you just understand, relationships are really important. I was chilling last night. I didn't know I was gonna do anything. Cito was like, "Yo, pop out to Dumbo." Came to Dumbo House. Came through. It was a good vibe. Chuck was there. Marley was there. We had a great time. Yeah. You feel me? And that's just off the strength of just relationships.
That's a fact.
You feel me? And relationships get you a lot more of those things. I'd rather have.
That's a fact.
I'd rather have I'd rather have 100 good relationships than $100.
But you have rather 100 relationships than 100 million.
You said than 100 million? Yeah, I ain't going front, man. As I get older, I'm not I don't need to be some OD millionaire.
I don't
need that for real.
I kind of feel like that.
I don't need that. I don't need that.
You know what I be feeling?
Yeah,
respect. Hit me out.
I'm here, y'all. I'm just letting them know.
I don't need that. Keep it a buck, yo.
I want my 100 M's.
Yo, if I could touch, no funny.
I just feel
go ahead. Oh no! Get your
part of Jamaica. I want to buy, bro.
I guess because I don't feel like that because I feel like and it's not this is not even say I want money. You know what I'm saying? But it's not. It's I'm not strive. That's not my biggest motivator right now. Where it's it's because I know it's a part of the other motivator. I know I need to make money. So it's it's more of a skill, learning how to make money and use it. So I could for the main motivation. You know what I'm saying? So money has become something I appreciate because it's it's what's gonna motivate. The other things that I really like. All right, this is what I want to invest in. You know what I'm saying? He says, that ass, just being able, we said, those times where you have to ask your mans for the drink in the spot. It's those little things. Those add up to your self-esteem. You know what I'm saying?
It's a quality life thing.
You feel good when you can pop out and nigga, bro, you feel good when I pop out, but nigga, yo, Cito, get what you want, man. I'm a bread out of this, so yo, bro, don't worry about that, bro. I'll cover that. You know what I'm saying? That just feels good. You know what I'm saying? That it feels good. It's a different type of dopamine. It's not drugs. It's this is a genuine
It's a genuine. To me, it's a beautiful human experience.
Right.
The time we were talking about earlier.
Yeah. So the kid.
I don't want to make this seem the 100 M's is more from a gluttony standpoint and vanity. I think it's more just seeing how my energy has been reciprocated in the world, and I feel almost what not is demanded of me in the sense of I have to give it, but also what's demanded me in the sense of what a space I feel I can feel.
Right.
I feel with that energy, with a certain level of resources, I feel I can touch way more souls than I have already.
Right.
And I think when I make that, I don't necessarily need 100 M's in my bank account, but like more of like my company, my business, being able to have the capital to change things like we really want to talk about.
Yeah,
like having like being able to actually have a school, like being able to actually like go somewhere and like have a checkbook that can actually solve a problem in a manner that like just the idea in itself does. You know what I'm saying? Like I see a lot of people with nonprofits with great hearts, and a lot of VCs like venture capitalists with kind of like great business minds, and they want to send certain money so they can sleep at night. Knowing like other aspects, not trying to generalize both of them, but just to see like how the world works. It's like the people with the good hearts, I feel like always kind of have to have a sympathy narrative to kind of get money to help the world. I don't like that. It kind of blows mine. You know what I'm saying? And I want to be in a space where it's kind of like, no, like I want to see people with great hearts with great money.
Right.
And that's more of that viewpoint towards it.
No, I feel that. It's funny because I be thinking like, yo, I think that's why niggas is like, you know, so funny because in the same sense, I think the great-hearted people, they have more longevity though. Like versus the other people, and this is just from what I've noticed through people I know. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like, yo, you still got like you're scaling. Like I
need a bigger sample size for me, but good to you. I need a bigger sample size for that.
What do you mean? What do you mean by sample size?
In a sense of like, I need to see the people that I know that were good-hearted, the people I know that had good money, and like see them scale life more. Like, because it's kind of like I can see, like I know people that had money when I was younger, and they like I need to see how. Because to me, it's like some of the stuff we're talking about, you don't know. There's no right or wrong. Everybody's life is their life. But you can't necessarily determine that until I feel like they're at an age where their life has been realized already. Their company probably went public. Their kids are old enough to go to, like, you know what I'm saying? Like certain things you don't know if you made a quote unquote right decision yet with how you moved in your life until something happens, you know?
Right.
Like I feel like my mom kind of was at a space where I speak to her a lot. And she was like, she didn't realize she did things right until kind of like I'm the last one until she realized that I was good. Yeah. And she didn't. I know them just be like when you get the right, that should be. I ain't gonna chiropractor high key. It's crazy. Yeah. But like there's certain things where it's like I think as you get older, when I'm younger, I was like I've had a good decision. All right, next week I'll know. In 2 months I'll know. The older I get, it's kind of like I could be working on something right now that may not come out for 18 months. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like I may be investing in a woman that I may not like, and my investment in her may not be beneficial until 15 years from now from a certain aspect. And it's kind of like the ROIs are going further and further apart. Yeah. But I feel like the effort has to still be that great every single day. Yeah. And it kind of gets you where you're like you have to keep that same energy for real. Yeah. And at times it just makes me just like, yo, like when you make these investments, like be sure with your yes. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Like, be sure what you're like, because like when I was young, it was more like, yo, just do what you gotta do, do what you gotta do, do what you gotta do, do what you gotta do. Yeah. But then that made me less human. Yeah. It made me not connected. It made me like just numb all my feelings and get what I get done. Yeah. Then you crash, you get to zero. Everybody leave me alone. You fill your cup back up and do it again.
It's funny,
but that's not. But that's not. I don't think that's the way to go about it no more. And everybody's saying that. I mean, it's emotional revolution, emotional intelligence, emotional awareness, all that. But everybody keeps saying we have to be this way emotional, but keep judging us on the scale of high, like touching these goals or making certain. And I think, as you said, like understanding what your top is, like is important. What is your level of success? Right. Yeah. I guess I'm just trying to figure out or see what's these formulas of where the quality of life is that, but you also get to these goals. And it may take a little bit longer because it takes longer to take the stairs. Yeah. But I just feel like everybody's trying to paint it a certain way, but I see very few people that's able. Like I can see it, but you actually did it that way.
Yo, it's funny. It's funny. It's something I realized. Like I always, I think that like what we're doing right now is just setting the stones for the youth. You know, like that's why, like people will say it, but they're not actually doing it, because it's like it's something. It's an idea that sparked. So, a lot of people hasn't grasped the idea as yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the people who've grasped it haven't even grasped how to actually put it in play, because it's something kind of new, you know what I'm saying? Like, in the sense of like, you know, the emotional revolution and, you know, intelligence and everybody kind of getting back to like, yo, loving themselves and understanding to love their loved ones and trying to get back to that space of like, you know, like cookouts again, you know what I'm saying? And shit like that.
But part of me feels like the Western civilization is on that, but I feel like the rest of the world kind of been on that. Like you're saying, like
and
anime. So to me, it's like
that's what I'm saying. I think like we're just getting on that, but I feel like the only reason why we're getting on that is because shit is like, the time of abundance is like the time of decadence, I should say, is like, every great empire has its crash. So I feel like that's just all that's happening. And
America just roaming the Gucci belt.
Yeah, like now we just like niggas be so focused on decadence and like less on like like actual like maintaining the structure. So it's kind of like I just think like, but that's supposed to happen. I think for the newer generation to kind of like build from, because like what you're saying right now, like and what we be saying right now is like we I'm sure every man here put what we say into action, but there's times when we be on some.
Yeah,
do this
that's some bullshit. Yeah.
But like, there's gonna be a time where like what we be bullshitting, or like when we be bullshitting, that's not even a thing for the newer generation. There's gonna be a time where like someone is gonna be able to just like, oh no, yeah, I'm good, bro. I'm emotionally stable. I'm just, like there's gonna be a time where nobody's asking if they're okay because they're working too much or doing too much. Like they're focusing so much. There's gonna be a time where someone is dead ass okay mentally and emotionally. Like we could think that. You know what I'm saying? Because there's examples of people that's like, yo, bro, you straight? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Like, they actually are happy with like what they do. They're happy. They feel good about it. Yeah. And they're scaling. And they're still good people to the people. They actually take time to breathe. Like, it's like somehow they figure it out. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, understanding their capacity and their limits. And I think it's just systems. You know what I'm saying? It's like setting up systems to kind of like help you like maneuver that shit, because like I said, it's new now. It's like this is a new.
It's new. Yeah. I think the system thing is true. I need some more systems.
Yeah.
That kind of like get me operating in that framework. What type of systems you be working with?
Who, me?
Yeah, like.
In what sense? Like.
In the sense of kind of like, I'll say routine. Like what's your routine?
I ain't gonna lie, bro. I don't have no routine.
You
right
got no
now.
routine. You wake up and you go get
it's
it.
a lot of vibes right now. Keep it a buck.
Right now.
Yeah, I quit my job, so it's a lot of vibes. So like, what happened? I think. I went out with y'all. I got back to the crib at like, I think 11:30 or so.
So good, right?
I think I watched an interview. Took a shower.
Took a
shower. I can see the twinkle on your face.
I watched the interview. Took a shower. Woke up at like,
wow, this feels good.
Woke up at like,
I know how you feel.
Woke up at like 3 a.m. and was like, yo, I got time. So I started working on some work that I shared with my team. Got that off, and then I was like, and then I went for a run. And then what happened after the run? Took a shower and linked a couple of my homegirls in the city. Like I'm living off vibes. I don't have a routine right now, but I know when I do get in the routine bag, it's very like wake up at 5 or 6, sit in like try to like sit in silence or just like write something down, then go for a run and some shit like that. But like I'm it's important because when I do that, it helps me get a lot of things done. Mm-hmm. But I'm also okay with the days where there's no structure. Yeah, like I'm very okay with that. I'm very okay with
I think there's balance in it. Yeah. I think there's really balance. I think I've been a non-structured dude for so long that now I'm kind of like, I feel like my self-sabotage is in my lack of structure.
Yeah.
And like I can't.
The same way, man.
I can't keep going this way to get to where I need to go. Yeah. And then when I say that, I just mean for like the highest version of me.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I'm more so on the like. I'm really heavy. Like, can somebody show? Like, I'm more like a film dude. I'm gonna watch film. I'm gonna study. I want to see it. Like, yo, can somebody please break this down to me? Cause like, I've been in a couple relationships over the last couple of years, and it's kind of like a lot of women be like, they be around dudes that they think is busy, but then I'll be like, nah, like I'm dead busy. Like, but you have to make time for those situations. Yeah. But when I get around the people, I'm just like, all right, so you got wifey, you got kids, you got like you take care of your mom, like everything's all right. Like I really be like, how you doing? Like I want to know.
Oh, they stressed.
And they be so I'm like, oh, so you bugging, you just hide it better than me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, and that's so to me, it's kind of like, is it a front? Or is anybody really like able to really do it all?
Some people accept. I think they just
accept that that's just what it is.
You just dance in the rain with it, like yo. It's just like
you dance in the rain.
Tango with like
you just
tango, bro.
Yeah,
like it's just it's so funny because like I be trying like, and I think like thinking less about it like for me has been helping. Like you remember I told you at one time I was like, yo, knowledge is a curse, man. I think I told you that. I was like,
I used to feel like that, but I don't feel like that no more. That's what I'm saying. Like every level I get to, I see it differently. But go ahead.
And the reason why I say knowledge is a curse is like it's not to say. Because I'm reaching that level as a form of enlightenment, understanding that, like, yo, I do love knowledge, because it's helped me gain levels. But as you reach a certain level, you realize like a lot of this knowledge is like, damn, like it's like now it's like I'm reading it now. It's like I was just telling Cash, it's like, yo, it's like you gotta be careful when you read certain things. You actually like saying it. It's becoming a part of your subconscious.
Uh-huh.
So when I started realizing certain things, I was like, damn, bro, like this is crazy. Like
it's one of those like. Don't wake up if you're not trying to wake up.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Like don't read something and be like, cause certain people if you really want to stay asleep, then stay asleep.
And because I've woken up from such a long time ago, like as a child, like from like when I was like, I said, man, fuck school. I started just like understanding, but I was the nigga that would like drop like leave school early to go shoot, you know, photography or go kick it in the studio, work on things, creative things. Like I looked at those things more important than school. So I started doing mad at that, and I stopped going. I dropped out of school, and like I spent mad years, like, you know, just shooting, like just creating, bro. And like I realized the whole time my structure, like what I used to tell myself, I used to speak to myself very highly, and I realized speaking to myself helped with that. I also realized like understanding the idea of just doing things, like where it's like I'm thinking too long.
Quick question: can I ask you this? Cause I don't want to lose it.
Yeah.
And it might be a tough question, but same thing. Do you regret dropping out?
Nah.
Why not?
I feel like it was a decision made from like feeling and also understanding myself. So like I feel like I wouldn't be who I was today if I didn't make that decision. I wouldn't feel like, you know, that moment where you need. Remember I told you, remember I said that wild shit a minute ago when I said, yo, I understand these older niggas, man. That's why they be fucking with younger bitches, because they just need to feel alive again. Yeah. And I feel like there was a point. Yeah, there was a point when I was younger.
There's fine print in the statement. That's not. Yeah, there's some fine print in that statement. That's not.
It's like there was a time when I was younger where like I felt so low about myself. You know what I'm saying? I didn't feel like here, and I needed to do a pinch myself moment. And I think dropping out of school was that. To know like, oh, I still have my decisions. Like I still have choices. I can still make choices. Like, and when I dropped out of school, I was like, oh my God, I dropped out of school. What the fuck am I gonna do? You know what I'm saying? But it's like, I don't know, bro. Like I just come from a long line of hustlers. You know, like my mom's like, and then my dogs and them. Like y'all, like you know what I'm saying? It's like all right, let me just do what they're doing, but what I want to do. Like it was simple. Like that's how I usually break down a lot of things. I usually look at things very simple. So it's like I used to look at Cito, see what he's doing. I see he's always going hard with his like artistry, and going to like going to shows everywhere. We was going to every show in Brooklyn in the most wildest areas in Brooklyn. Like walking in there, parking up dumb deep.
Came a long way from, I ain't gonna lie to you.
Feel me?
In a weird way, bro. Getting invited to Dumbo House last night was a full circle moment, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Cause I remember going to shows when homies had the Thule on them and everything, bro.
You feel me? Like
poetry shows, bro.
Poetry.
And the spot, and it was crazy. The spot where dudes like, no, my man's get on the mic.
You feel me? Yeah.
Man, get on the mic.
Facts.
Like your boy,
like me and him too deep though. Like we in places where like we didn't even feel like we belonged at. Like I've been through so much like
full conversations. People at bars, niggas trying to holler at girls. I'm like, yo, I'm trying to get my poem off, bro. Like,
yeah, bro.
Like, yo, where you from?
Transformative. Yo, we had transformative experiences like on the road, like together. You know what I'm saying? I think for me that helped. Like it just. And I started realizing I'm over here looking at Cito elevator. I'm just bigging him up like, yo, bro, you going up. And the whole time, like I'm going up in my photography, but it's because I'm not. It's like I took myself out of like the equation. I took my ego out of it. Like I'm just looking at photography. It's like this is just how I feel. Like so I'm just shooting continuously, just doing mad shit. Yeah, I'm just in it. I'm just in it, bro. Like that was my matrix. Like where it's like. I'm in my own matrix where it's like, yo, this is just, I'm just doing this. This is like that's what I'm supposed to do. This is like, yo, why would I not do this? This is what I feel good doing. This is what pays the bills. This is what I felt really good doing it.
Alright, so I guess last question before you wrap it up. Do you feel like doing the thing that makes you feel the best is what's best for you?
Not every time.
Not every time.
Yeah, you don't want what's the word? You don't want to. You don't want that instant. You don't want to fall in love with instant gratification all the time. Like, you don't want to fall in love with just always just I'm gonna do what makes me happy, right? Because You know, that comes with L's for real. So you got to kind of balance it, though. You got to do your best to balance it, whatever balance means. But nah, I don't advise anyone to always do what they want all the time. Like, that's a life of like extreme privilege. Like, you can only really do that if everything is set up for you.
Facts.
Like, if you got fail safes on fail safes on fail safes. Like, I know for sure, like, some people tend to do shit like that because they know, like, yo, if I fuck up, like, you know, somebody got me. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I don't advise that. So.
You know, it's funny. It's funny because my epicenter at the time when I even said that,
Mr. Miyagi, baby.
Oh, you caught it?
Hell yeah.
Wow.
My epicenter was from a place of like, I'm not gonna lie, like it was just a place of survival. So I realized like I can't get a job. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, alright, boom, like, what's the next best thing? Oh, create something, like do something. Oh, camera. I have a camera. So I took the camera up. But this is the thing, it started from a place of hurt because like I said, I was in a very low place. So I used the camera as a medium to kind of bring me out of that space. But then when I realized like, you know, I'm in certain spaces now where they're talking bags to me and I'm like, you know, there's times where I'm asking Cito like, yo, bro, like, yo, these niggas want to hire me here, bro. Yo, what does this even mean? He's like, yo, bro, like, you about to make the bag, nigga. Like, I've done college gigs. I've never even been to college. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm getting around things that I wasn't even, like, planning on doing, you know? But it's because of, it came from a place of wanting to heal, and then it went to a place of survival, and then it turned into a place of, like, man, fuck that. Like, you know, I'd rather just do this. But then, you know, like I was telling you earlier, where it's like, you know, like you said, it's like an up and down. It's like a slope, which I understand life ain't a straight line. You know, like you said, you know, certain lines when you know, really great poems that you have.
Sometimes the slope ain't slippery, and I think that's the.
Yeah, you know, this shit ain't like this, man. It's that ass. It's mad it is like I literally took whole breaks off of like my passions.
I think the breaks is the most
for 3
important.
years,
like that when you talking about earlier, Stephen, about just the breaks of just like
that ass.
I think that's the most important thing to me. I used to think it felt like there's a reason it's an all season. That's why I love sports. Yeah. There's a reason it's an all season, and there's a certain way you lift during the season, and a certain way you lift on the all season. There's a certain way you train, you trying to get better in the all season. When the season come around, it's more of a durability thing. You can't burn yourself out every workout or every day, every game, every time you show up trying to get something done because you know you need longevity in it. Yeah. And I just think a lot of this stuff feels like it's no off season.
Right.
And you have to come and kind of create your own off season where it's like there's a time for you to learn, there's a time for you to apply, there's a time for you to rest, there's a time for you to live in abundance with the people that you love. Right. And like those things aren't like 3 months, 1 day. It's like figuring out what the, like, you know what I'm saying, just putting the pieces together in that aspect. And I don't know, I just think like I feel like I struggle with it because I love the people that I love. But it's also I love my work. And it's like I don't know, like I feel like I spend too many days when I'm with one thinking about the other one. Right. And I don't want that no more. Like I don't. Like when I'm with the people I love, I want to love them. When I'm with my art, I want to love that. Yeah. And not vice versa, or think about what I should be doing. Right. And I think, like you said, I'm in somebody's marketing scheme.
Yeah, we all right.
I'm in somebody's marketing scheme.
So we all are.
What my lifestyle looks like.
It's
and
the habit, bro.
First, one thing I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna tip my hat to that person, and then the second thing I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna create my own marketing scheme because this ain't it. That's my moment of clarity. If y'all got any final thoughts, get ahead. But yeah, I think that's just where I'm at with it.
All right, say Cito and Chuck, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. You know, definitely enjoy having conversations where we can just be honest, be candid. So, you know, definitely appreciate the opportunity to be here.
And, you know, thanks for pulling up and, you know, sharing some insight.
Of course.
Like, I feel like this is it's really good when, like, you know, men do this, you know, have intimate moments, because I feel like we try to spend too much time in that place of, like, you know, HNIC, you know, and it's not, I mean, hey, it comes with the territory, but, you know, the times where we could, like, nah, bro, I just feel like this, like, you know, like, I feel, actually tell you, bro, like, I just feel, bro, like, it feels good, you know what I'm saying? So, it's always good to, you know, have, you know, other fellows come through and just, you know, share how they feel, you know, instead of how they think, because we do that all day with each other. Like, yo, it's how I think, bro. It's just what I think, you know what I'm saying? But it's like you don't really hear too much of how it feels a lot, you know. So when you hear people outside of your friend, of course, you know, in your friend group you gonna hear it, but you know, outside, so much you don't really see every day. Like, yo, bro, I just feel like this is like that's a good, you know, it's a good sign that we're progressing.
Yeah.
So I guess those little things, that's how I feel fulfilled. You know, just I'll be feeling fulfilled by that too. You know, just like the little progressions I see in like our life, you know, in life. You know what I'm saying? Especially between humans. Right? You know what I'm saying? Because they once said we don't, like, for some odd reason, maybe, like, you know, they think we don't get along with each other. But like, I mean,
tapped in.
We tapped in, you know.
This is a moment of clarity. Until next time. Yeah. Get out.
All right, y'all. Blessings.
Thank you for tuning into Moment Clarity Podcast. Hopefully this episode brought you some type of value, gave you a different perspective, or at least made you laugh. Please like and subscribe. If you have any subjects or topics you want us to discuss, please feel free to DM us.